Welcome to Sips and Spirits, a podcast for lovers of both alcoholic and spectral spirits. I am your co-host, Chelsea.
And with their co-host, Eric. Little disclaimer before we get started. Facts and stories presented are from various sources, and we make no claims that these tales are true. We just found it to be spooky and interesting.
Cocktails and spirits are tasted for the first time during episode recording unless noted otherwise, as is the case in this very special festive episode, if you can't tell from watching us or hearing my little jingle bells ringing.
Jingle, jingle.
We created 3 very special cocktails for this, and we did taste test all of them beforehand to make sure they were presentable for you. And
We're getting crunked up tonight.
So excited to take you on this cocktail tasting journey.
Yeah. We've been excited for like a year.
Yes, this has been a year in the making, and although not 100% to the point we wanted, it is very close, and I think it's going to unfurl into like 1,000% what we beyond our expectations.
Yes, it is. It's going to be very fun. God dang. Before we get started, though, we want to remind you that it is fine to enjoy the spirits, but don't let them possess you. We may be a drinking podcast, but we strongly encourage that you drink responsibly. As much as we love you enjoying our cocktails, there's never any pressure to consume them.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And then sometime later, we will make all these cocktails non-alcoholic, so you can enjoy them, hopefully before the holidays or after. And whatnot to do that. So
we'll get them prepared for you for next year.
There we go. Sounds good. Let's get started.
All right.
So we have 3 different cocktails.
Yes.
What is the theme of these 3 different cocktails?
So we are taking you on an adventure of spirits from past, present, and future. And if you're guessing that it's inspired by Charles Dickens' Christmas spirits of the same name, you are correct. So our very first visit is with the ghost of Christmas past. And we've got a little surprise. We have to ignite this adventure.
We have to ignite. We can start flashing this fire to us. So we are going to use 151 proof rum to light up a sugar cube.
Yeah. So while Eric is getting ready to ignite that flame, I'm going to talk a little bit about our cocktail. So it is inspired by what's known as a Brandy Alexander, which is like a cream liqueur-based cocktail. We use this wonderful Espirito brandy, which we found, and we were like, that is the perfect named spirit for what we want to do for all of our festive themed spirits. And this brandy is actually used in every single one of our cocktails in this episode. So I almost said tonight, which still kind of works, but depends on when you're listening. That's that. Oh, we better hurry. The spirits are here briefly, and there's the flame. And where's the goodies?
No idea.
Let's make this magic happen. So we're going to literally spark our spirit to life with some nutmeg.
Oh, that is sunk in there.
So for those who are listening, we just have our cocktail, the Ghost of Christmas Past, and we put a sugar cube soaked in the 151 and then sprinkled it with some nutmeg, which when you do that and it's caught on fire, the nutmeg makes a little spark.
Mine did not do that.
Mine is still like sizzling. You clumped it too much.
My ice cube sunk to the bottom.
It's like, I feel like this is the same issue we ran into when we were doing the squonk. But now it smells really festive in here.
It is festively.
I have to extinguish mine because it's still burning.
Mine got snuffed out itself.
There we go.
Anyway.
All right. So cheers
to
the very first spirit
in the past.
Of the past.
Oh. I almost spilled all my drink all over my notes.
No, don't do that.
God dang. So, tasting.
Yes, the tasting notes. Before we got on the mad rush to ignite the flame, which is very popular for just the Yule festivities.
Well, when we do the video for this, we'll make it so you guys can see the flame a little better.
Yeah. But maybe it turns out in the video. We'll see.
We'll see.
It would be exciting to see. But anyways, what am I saying? This is inspired by the Brandy Alexander, but we kind of styled these 3 cocktails to act as things you would pair along with your holiday feasts. So this cocktail is supposed to act as your appetizer. So it's a very small cocktail with only 2.5 ounces total for drinking. So we have 1 ounce of the Espirito brandy, and then we also have 1 ounce of this lovely horchata creme liqueur that we found at Total Wine.
Horchata.
What did I say?
Horchata.
Horchata.
You're
correct. Horchata.
Horchata, yes.
Okay. And then we have 1/2 ounce of heavy cream. I'm always leery about these kinds of ingredients that really require you to shake the cocktail well enough to ensure that it's been thoroughly mixed. So I think I mixed this pretty thoroughly, and it makes a really nice, creamy, but light cocktail. And I feel like this would actually pair really nicely with some appetizers like a charcuterie board or like even a baked brie.
You know what's really cool about this? When it works and the fire's burning. Like, if you think about it coming in from a Christmas drive, snowy outside, kind of nice and chilly. You get here, it's like you get this like cold cocktail. It's like, hey, here, let me light a fire, get you warm.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. It's like, ooh, it's fun and festive. Sparkle the nutmeg and get it sparking going.
Yeah. I love that we really tried to incorporate that aspect.
So those of you guys watching this, sorry it didn't work out that so well, but look out for our cocktail videos.
Yeah, when you see the cocktail recipe, we'll definitely do like a zoom in of it so you can see the effect with the nutmeg sprinkling on it. Yeah. So I think that's about it for my notes on this cocktail. Any tasting notes you want to add to this or flavors?
It's creamy, but it's not like so. Excuse me. If you've never had horchata, it's a very creamy, very cinnamony kind of style drink, kind of thing. This of course is not that much. It's like it is horchata, but it's not like horchata.
I feel like there's that cinnamon cream flavor that you get from horchata, like while you're drinking it. But I love that because we threw the nutmeg on there. That's actually more prevalent over the cinnamon. And they blend together really nicely. So it feels like you're drinking a holiday drink.
Yeah, no, for sure. This feels holiday. It's gonna sound weird, but it's like a watered down milkshake, but in a good way. Like it's not melted milkshake, but it's like still like it's good. Like I said, like I would love like coming to a party and be like, hey, here you go, have this kind of thing. You know, and not because we made it, kind of thing. You know, it is an enjoyable, like, welcoming drink, kind of thing. It's not too heavy on the alcohol. You don't get like punched in the face with it.
I like that you can still taste it because we've had a really good Brandy Alexander, but I felt like you can't taste the liquor as much. It just feels like you're drinking a creamy, sweet drink.
Yeah,
and it's not an overwhelming sweet, but this one, it's like, oh, there's definitely a little treat in there.
But yeah, it's delicious. Enjoy it.
As we sip on our Christmas spirits of the past, what do you have to share about Christmases of the
past? So before we get started, before we dive into my part of the notes on the Christmas past, I've been having this thought a lot this year. When Samhain happens, they say the veil's at thinness because the veil opens. The winter solstice, they say the same thing. Because that's when the veil closes. Yes, no? So my question for you, and just, to ponder, you and the audience, and which one do you think has, this is not the would you rather, but which one do you think has a higher presence of spirits? When the door opens or when the door is closing? Or, also, which one do you think has the most malevolent spirits?
That's, I want to say when the door is closing.
The door's closing?
Because they're desperate to hold on. That's their last chance, right? It's the last stand. And it's weird for a comparison, but I think like Hocus Pocus, right? They have until Halloween ends. They're brought back on Halloween night. And let's be honest, like the first half of the film, they're kind of like lazing into it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's not until it's like dawn is approaching that they're really taking this seriously.
Okay. So I will agree with you on that aspect of things. You know, if you think about it that way, that's when you have the most thing.
Uh-huh.
But I also thinking, like, let's just use an example: Black Friday shopping.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as the door open, everybody busts through.
Well, and I feel like you're having humans just in general are carrying around more negativity.
Mm-hmm. Well, that.
Because, not just because, we've kind of commercialized this time of year and put a lot of pressure into having family gatherings and coming together and like faking this
That's true.
persona or merrymaking. So for these otherworldly beings, we're easy pickings
Mhm.
and we're easier to convince
Well-
because we're so distracted from our normal goings on.
Let's go back to what this cocktail is. Christmas
Mm-hmm.
past. Even in the past, before Christmas was commercialized,
Mm-hmm.
the winter times was the darkest times of the year, the gloomiest times of
Right.
the year.
That's where
you
I was
know,
going next.
And it's like, so in that aspect of things, we do have, those, the negativity of like, it's just dark and be
Right.
scary, eerie kind of thing. But bring it back to nowadays, besides the commercialized, and we've talked about this, outside the podcast about how the negativity that comes, this time of year is partially, consumerism, partially, what's going on, but also like it's in the year, and then you start looking back and being like, hey, did I do my resolutions?
Mm-hmm.
Did I waste my year away, kind of thing? And not trying to like start off in a negative note, but I was just like,
Right.
like
No, but it's a thought,
Mhm.
right? I mean, let's circle back around to our connection with the Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
Right? You have Ebenezer reflecting on, right, his Christmases and his childhood not being the greatest, and then suddenly they make a very positive turn when his father sends his sister to have him come back home.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets to meet this beautiful woman, and things seem very promising. They're both very in love, but his past ends on a very sad and negative note because
Mhm.
that love fell through because of his mistakes,
Mhm.
his ignorance.
Yeah.
Right? So I feel like and I think of certain types of Yuletide spirits that are kind of very threatening
Mhm.
and frightening. So that's why I'm thinking probably a little bit more intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
But now I feel like we need to maybe next year look at cryptids based around Samhain specific.
Yeah. So sneak peek to next year, guys. But anyway, so that just been a thought like for me this year, and I wanted to wait the year to talk about it
Mhm.
and whatnot. But now, would you rather? This will be, I think, a simple one. Would you rather encounter a winter ghost or cryptid in a cabin escape, or would you rather encounter it in the winter ghost or cryptid in like a town festival?
Say that one more time.
Would you rather encounter a supernatural being
Mm-hmm.
out in the cabin in the winter,
Mm-hmm.
or would you rather experience it out in like a town festival?
Hmm.
To bring into like an example, like I'm thinking, you're on the cabins, you've encountered some monster,
Yeah.
or like in Hilda with the Yuletide, with
The Yule ads.
Yule ads kind of thing.
Yeah. I kind of want to say like in town.
In town.
Yeah. I feel like you go out into the woods, you stay in a cabin. Part of you in your subconscious is kind of still apprehensive something terrible might happen.
Yep.
Whether supernatural or not. Whereas you're out merrymaking, going through your light mazes, checking out your Santa pop-up bars. You're not expecting to run into this magical shop or store that could be your worst fate.
I know where you're getting for that. Okay.
Yeah.
So part of me has like, okay, if I'm in the cabin, it's just me and it, like it's shitter.
Mm-hmm.
But also, part of me is like, if it's in town, like it's like a face off with me and Krampus. It's like, let's do this.
Mm.
Let's have an audience, kind of thing. So I'm with you with that one. Like, it's not that I'm not expecting it to like pop up, in town, but it's like I get an audience. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's do that. Okay, cool. So with that, we're gonna talk about winter cryptids.
Woo.
Okay, not specifically just Christmas cryptids, because we all know Christmas cryptids. We have, as mentioned, Krampus, the Yule Lads, Grayla, all the present giving ones, the Fanta, you know, the Tom Tom of Christmas is known from Sweden. We have Yetis, Abominable Snowman, any other Scooby Doo like ice cold episode like villain, Jack Frost and Santa and his reindeers,
Mm-hmm.
all in this sense. But here's a few who are very different, and I'm gonna give Chelsea a
Ooh,
picture,
I get
a
visuals.
picture guy, and then we'll share this with you guys later.
We'll
Okay.
pop it up here for those watching on YouTube.
goes-
You'll get a visual.
It goes countdown.
Okay.
Okay, the first one is called the Knuckle Lovey. Okay, it's a winter monster from the Orkney Islands in Scotland. A type of demon trapped in the sea for most of the years by the Myrtle of the Sea, a powerful female sea spirit from Orcadian mythology, but emerges from the watery depths in the winter. It has the appearance of a horse with the upper body of a man coming out of the middle of his back. The head is 3 times too big and it rolls back and forth, and its arms are too long and drags on the ground. The legs have fin-like appendages, no skin, all you can see is the powerful muscles, with black blood pulsating through the yellow veins.
This thing is horrifying looking.
Oh yes. The horse's mouth breathes a smelling toxic vapor that causes corpses to wilt and livestock or young folks to fall ill. Drought follows his wake. The only way to escape it is to cross a body of fresh water. Being that it's a sea creature, he cannot stand fresh water.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Next one. We have the Mahaha from Inuit myth. A thin but strong human-like creature. It has ice-cold blue skin, cold to a touch, with hair that is as long and frozen stiff. It is shirtless and bears food, unbothered by the cold. Kind of like Elsa on a bad hair day. And an unnerving smile is plastered on his face. It has long, bony fingers with sharp fingernails that will be used to tickle you to death. It is said that the ice-cold victims are said to have died with their faces twisted in a frozen smile. To escape this hellish torture of death, you must trick the Mahaha. One way to ask it to join you for a drink of water in the watering hole. When it leans for a drink, push into the water, and it gets swept away.
Okay, Hansel and Gretel.
Pretty much. Next, we are going to go with the Yuki-onna from Japan, translated as a snow woman.
Mm-hmm.
It is said to be a spirit of a beautiful woman who has perished in the snow. Her method of killing varies with legends. Some say she leads the travelers astray, leaving them to die in exposure in the cold. Others say she'll cause snowstorms to freeze the travelers to death. Others say she appears with the child on her arms, known as Yukinko. The child often wears a yukimino and come in a conical straw snow cloak traditional in Japan. Yuki-onna will freeze anyone who tries to take the cloak from the child. Sometimes she'll even invade people's houses, blowing the doors open, freezing them in their sleep. On other times, she will only kill men whom she successfully seduces with freezing kisses. The reason for killing is not known. Some say she does it because, while others, just because. Others say she drinks the blood and life force of her victims. Give me a second. There we go. Sorry. There is no mention of a way to escape the Snow Woman, but there's a legend that reveals she has willingness to show mercy. She has been known to spare people. One legend even tells her sparing a young man due to his youth and handsome appearance. And later, he discovers that the woman he married is actually the Yuki-onna. So moral story, be hot for them ghouls.
I think I'm screwed.
We're going to continue back in Japan by the Kuroa Kami. It's a Shino dragon deity, with Kura meaning dark and Kami meaning water dragon patron. This white dragon is one of the gods associated with the valley, as opposed to the mountains, hence it darkens its name. It is the god of rain and snow. It is said that Kurao Kami and his sibling Takao Kami and Mitsusha were born of the blood that was dripped from the hero Izanagi's sword after he slew Kagutsuchi, the dragon of the god of fire. However, temples of Kurami and Takami are almost always shown together, indicating these two gods are either the same god or twin deities. If prayed to, Kurakami can cause rain and snowfall on the water crops and generally see his benevolent spirit, though his wrath can be incurred.
I think it's Kura Okami.
Kura Okami.
Because Okami is like a god.
Yeah.
Kind of a deity.
Yeah. Next on the list, we have the Cheno from Kikowa up.
We're going to have to look it up because I thought it was Chinu.
Cheno, also known as Kiwakawa Apotanki, is the name of this next Wabanaki tribe cryptid. Okay?
We're trying, guys. Okay?
We're trying. I find these names and they don't have like a phonetic spelling, they just have like the...
We're going to put them up here somewhere on the screen if you're watching on YouTube, and if not there, I'll put them in the list in the show notes, just so that way you guys can look into it further. And definitely jump in and let us know how we should actually be pronouncing these, because we don't mean any offense. We want to share the knowledge, but we can't always find all of the knowledge.
Yeah, true. This is an ice giant compared to Wendigos. In the northeast U.S., this once human who committed cannibalism or refused to feed the starving.
Okay.
It causes the human's heart to freeze and turn to pure ice, taking the shape of a small human figure. Haggard, naked old man with... Wait, what? This causes a human to change into the Chino, or Cheno. Giants compared to humans in being both man and beast. Haggard, naked old man with wolfish eyes and may have chunks of his flesh missing where it has eaten its own flesh. It will cover itself in pine resin and rolling leaves and branches to camouflage. They live in the city cold north, and venture down to people to the forest when they're hungry. Their human figure shape heart is a key to turning a man into a Chino and turning a Chino back into a man, or just killing it. Whichever is easiest. A special medicine only known to the tribes can cause them to vomit up the heart of ice and the hearts of those that they've devoured and become a man once more. But generally, saving the human is not possible, and sometimes you might want not to. To kill the beast, the way is to chop it into pieces, but you want to do something easier and a bit less graphic. Just give it a bit of salt. Your salt will melt the ice heart real quick.
I think I'm okay then.
Yeah, here you go. You can just give some salt. Here's another one. From the Inuit tribes, monster that plays with the victims until they die. But its forms of torture is so much more sinister than tickling than this. Its name gives you a clue of what it does. Iku Tayuk, meaning the one who drills.
Oh, no.
Itu Kayuk and her unnamed brothers capture victims and then take them to the ritual circle of pillars of ice, where the brothers hold the victims down while the Itu Kayuk drills holes into the victim's body until they die. The bodies are buried in the pillars of ice.
Oh.
This creature, despite being something out of horror movies, is not a threat now. In one of the Inuit legends, a hero managed to kill the Iku Tayuk, and her brothers fled in terror. No such creature haunts the Arctic Circle anymore. Next, we have the Igirak, a shape-shifting Inuit creature, a spirit of someone who wandered too far into the cold north and froze wastes and got trapped between the life and death. As mentioned, a shapeshifter that can take any form but cannot hide its blood-red eyes. Its true form looks like a person, maybe a normal person, maybe a shadow person with sideways eyes and sideways mouth. You can only see it from its true form in the corner of your eye, and if you look straight at them, they will disappear. It made me think of that episode.
The hide behind.
The hide behind, or like the episode of Doctor Who.
Oh, the angels?
Not the angels, the what are they called?
Not the unseen.
Whatever they're
the
called.
Unknown.
Yeah, the one where they keep drawing lines in them. Yeah, maybe you think of those. Targeting travelers and will bring a disorienting effect to them that could lead them astray, even if their destination is right inside. This is to try to keep the living from entering its territory. Sometimes, however, they might try to drag the living into their realm of undead. Many experience memory loss after meeting one and only know of the encounter because they find themselves wandering where they weren't supposed to be. Okay, and one last one. It's so good. It's so good. The winter barbegazi comes from the French Alps on the border of what is known as Switzerland and France. A fairy or little person, in this case a dwarf or gnome, covered in white fur and pointed ears and long white beards from which clumps of icicles hang, where they get their names, frozen beards. Their most distinguished feature is their insanely large feet, like winter hobbits. It uses its large feet to ski down mountains. They have been known to surf avalanches, usually kind, help shepherds find lost sheep with their whistles, alerts to those who in the mountain avalanches. Did it not cause them with the whistles?
Wait, can you say that again?
So they whistle and they alert travelers that the avalanche is coming.
Hmm. So they're kind of helpful?
Yeah, very helpful. They help, people find their sheep and this and that and whatnot. They tunnel through the snow in the warmer months and they live in the vast network of tunnels and caves with the mountains. Only come out when it's cold.
Okay.
Little nice.
Like little hobbit slash dwarves.
Dwarves, yeah. We went all over the place, but all these are cold. Some of these are very, very vicious. And some of them are nice and cute.
Yeah, well, and I think the only one I really knew of was the Yukiona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. But yeah, no. I found this site. They had all these different ones. And they ended it with Jack Frost on that site. And I was like, I don't want to talk about Jack Frost. Well, let's talk about these other ones that I have.
These are lesser known,
lesser
right?
known kind of thing. And whatnot.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I hope. Which one did you guys like, or is new to you?
Yeah,
did you know any of these?
Like the first one was really like kind of got me off off on a tangent. I was like, man, this thing's really weird. Got in the horse thing, kind of scary. But yeah, and there's a whole like legend in between that thing and then the sea witch that I mentioned earlier. But yeah,
cool. I like it.
Yeah. That's that.
I love learning new winter cryptids, creatures, folklore. There's so much out there, and I feel like, don't get me wrong, Krampus is fun. Grayla is very interesting and intriguing alongside her Yule lads and the Yule cat, but there is so much more out there, and it does not get enough love.
And what I wanted to find specifically winter cryptids, not just Christmas cryptids, kind of thing. Because like I said,
not just like.
We know
Christmas
the holiday cryptids.
Or Yule specific or Saturnalia specific, right? Let's go more international because the Scandinavian countries aren't the only ones experiencing winter. Mm-hmm. So I love that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, are we
ready for our next drink?
Are we ready to move on to the present?
Let's go to the present.
By the ringing of the second bell, we are now entering the Ghost of Christmas Present.
Magic.
So for this cocktail, we have made a Ghost of Christmas Present mulled wine
and let's cheers
cocktail.
To this.
You got that?
Let's not bring the garland with me. It's hot.
Hold it by the handle.
I was trying not to grab the garland. Ready?
Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah. It's going to warm your soul.
Yes. And this cocktail is intended to be paired with your holiday feasts. It's nice and robust, but easily paired with many types of foods. So,
come and get to know me better.
A mulled wine is traditionally warmed and served warmed. And some people use it as a simmer pot to bring about all those festive scents that you're familiar with during this time of year. So in our mulled wine, we actually used a wine we featured on the podcast before, known as the Southern Belle Red Blend.
Oh, Lady in White. In theme with this episode with ghosts.
Yeah, we felt it was appropriate. A ghostly lady paired with the Espirito brandy. No surprise, alongside some Grand Marnier to bring out the orange flavor that usually is accompanied. We're not big storing oranges in our pantry. We just don't buy them that often. And I wanted to make this a really unique type of mulled wine. And I don't know, have you ever had the pleasure of having like an actual like nice mulled wine?
Nope.
They're really easy to make, but a lot of the times when we've gone to restaurants, they're just like subpar mulled wines. And I don't know if it's just because it's been simmering all day and it's lost some of its value or what.
Probably
But
just like overburn. So I'm gonna say this. I've said it before. Different wines. I enjoy wine.
mhm,
I enjoy wine, but it's not my drink of choice to go to like when I go like out to drinks
mhm.
kind of thing. Um, but if I'm having like a nice meal, like a nice protein, any protein, with a good wine, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Same thing with this.
Well, and I love finding fun wine cocktails because I feel like people don't experiment
No,
enough with wines in a
it's
cocktail.
too expensive. Not really, actually. Like thinking back at like our bottles of wine and some of the bottles of like liquor that we've seen, I was like, no, it's just about the same.
So those three liquid ingredients are then put into a saucepan alongside, in ours, we put slices of lemon, 2 sticks of cinnamon, and some honey. Some people use sugar, brown sugar. I wanted to try something different because we've been a big fan of honey and the sweetness it adds, but it gives a kind of different texture to the cocktail. And I think we got something really nice here.
Hmm.
It's not overly sweet.
No.
We did 2 tablespoons of honey with the whole bottle of wine and a quarter cup each of the brandy and the Grand Marnier. But
You get cranked up.
if you feel you want it to be a little bit more sweet, I would suggest just adding 1 tablespoon at a time after it's been simmering for at least 15 minutes. And like gentle simmer. You don't want this to come to a boil at all because otherwise you'll boil out all
All,
the alcohol.
all the good stuff. All the spirits.
And we've got a lot of spirits in this
All the
one because
spirits.
we've got a full bottle of wine and then a quarter cup each of the brandy and the orange liqueur.
Hmm. But yeah.
So that's our mulled wine. Any tasting notes you want to add to this?
So, as I was saying earlier, I don't drink wine
Mm-hmm.
as an enjoyment. I wouldn't, if this is not paired with meal, it wouldn't be my go-to drink. Kind of thing. Like I need to have this with like a roast, some mashed potatoes,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Just like to mix it with the flavors of the the proteins and whatnot and the starches, kind of thing. But like outside of that, like it's enjoyable. Like again, like our first one's a cold cocktail with a little fire.
Mm-hmm.
This one's a warm cocktail. So now that you're in the party, you're relaxing. It's like
Warm, welcoming, time to relax and chill.
after having a few of these and then your meal, you can have the like, I gotta lay down.
You're going to start seeing those Christmas spirits.
You're gonna start falling asleep and like, I'm ready to have this stew, like piece of stew, not like fully being processed in my stomach and start seeing ghosts.
Honestly, you know what I keep thinking? I keep thinking of that steak my dad made for
Mhm.
Thanksgiving this
Mhm.
year. Oh, I feel like this would go so well with that.
Tomahawk.
It was a tomahawk steak
Mhm.
and it was like had a nice salty seasoning
Mhm.
on it. And I'm like, oh, this would be so good with that. Like my mouth is starting to
So
water.
what
I'm so
what
hungry.
your dad's been doing as of late, and this is a tip for everybody else. He's been seasoning the steak after it's been cooked.
Mm.
It's not a new thing, but it's like somebody made it popular again,
Hmm.
kind of thing. So when you season it afterwards, you get all the original seasoning flavors on top of the steak,
Hmm.
kind of thing. So the inside tastes like the steak should be, and then you get the season top. When you
But he
season
had like
before,
this like flaky salt
yeah,
that he used
and
on
then he
it.
used the
So
flaky salt at the end, kind of thing. If you season beforehand, you start cooking some of the seasoning, and so you lose some of the flavor,
mhm.
kind of thing. So little cooking thing.
Yeah. So now that we're in the present, what festivities do you have to present for us?
Not breaking more lights. So now that we're in the present, I figured it'd be fun to talk about superstitions. What do people do nowadays? And
Uh-huh.
like, what do people like think about? Again, back to our first question. People think the holidays is a very spiritual, in the good, bad, in the protective. We gotta watch out. Santa's watching, etc., etc. Kind of thing. So I figured, you know what? Superstitions. Let's find out some interesting. I found interesting. I don't know if you've heard about these.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with some
Uh,
basic ones, and then we'll go by regionals,
yeah, regional.
regional.
Uh-huh. I just want to throw in there before you jump into it. Like I'm very excited about this. Originally, we were going to debate about if Santa Claus is actually a cryptid or not, but I am a huge sucker for superstitions. Like, I have a dictionary of superstitions and a
And
book of superstitions, and I'm like, oh my God, Christmas superstitions? I did not know this was a thing, and I cannot wait to hear what you have for
oh,
us.
some of these are very exciting, and
Oh, I'm
I want to go
so
into some of these more deeply. But I think this falls really into Sips and Spirits being a thing because the idea of talking about like spirits and ksuki things and whatnot.
It's almost like we're going full circle. This is like what prompted us to start this.
Yeah,
And
kind of
that
thing.
tis the reason for the season, guys. It's ghost stories.
So my first one is going to be the reason why, since I put these together, it's the reason why I've been asking you about decorating the Christmas tree.
Mm.
Because apparently, leaving your Christmas tree bare will attract evil spirits and negative energy. So, get your spirit, get your tree, and decorate it as quickly as possible.
I would say, yeah. I mean, we had to get our tree was looking too bare with the one strand of lights we had on it, so we needed to go out and get another strand because I wanted it to match. But we had to kind of wait till payday to do it. And Eric kept asking me, like, when are we going to decorate the tree? It was like, well, I don't want to put the decorations on it and then have to take them off to put the strand of lights on because that should be the first thing that goes on your tree.
Yeah.
Um, at
Luckily,
least it is for us.
we had a star go for like a while.
Yeah, we had the star on it.
So it's not fully bare, but
Um,
still.
Yeah, because I like took the lights off this week completely so I could just easily, once we got the other strand,
Mhm.
just go whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And then the kids put on candy canes today.
Hmm.
So we've at least got that. And it's a little treat to
Mm.
leave for Santa.
There we
Just
go.
in case we don't put out the cookies, there's still something to snack on as
There
he
we go.
leaves gifts under the tree.
Hmm.
In case you guys didn't know, that's a thing. It is.
Yeah.
That's why you put peppermint on your tree.
There we go.
I'm sure there's other reasons too. But uh we started decorating
We
it.
started, so-
And I'm hoping tomorrow we actually do the rest of
Yeah.
the
So,
trimming. There we go.
Back on more tree knot stuff.
Ooh.
This is what I found interesting, and I'm like, I'm curious. I want to look more into it and to find out. But apparently, letting your tree be visible from the outside will bring financial problems, which is odd to me because you have the Christmas image of driving down the streets and seeing
The
people's
trees
trees.
in the window. Like
Yeah.
that's like the picturesque like dream.
So I don't know
thing.
if that's like maybe older old times kind of thing. That's why Christmas
Honey,
is so
that's
expensive.
So weird. Like we just moved our tree away from the window today.
Yeah, we did.
We were trying to figure out like the arrangement of the room because we wanted the tree is in the library, our
Mhm.
haunted library, and we're trying to figure out how we can position like the seating and stuff so we can kind of sit and enjoy it while we have company, but not feel like the tree's overtaking the room. So initially it was in front, when we first set it up, it was right in front, center front of the window that faces the street
Yeah.
in our neighborhood. And just this afternoon, we moved it away to be in between the two bookcases.
So interesting.
I'm like, oh. And
So-
we've been a little stressed financially just
little bit.
about different things.
Yeah.
So does this mean we'll have glad tidings
Hopefully,
in our
we'll
bank
see.
accounts?
We shall see. I am hoping so. This next one is the reason why we can never have holly in our house.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not a big holly person, but
Holly can be used to protect from witches and dark magic. So no holly, because we need some goth chicks to come over.
I mean, I know I don't look the part.
Yeah, but yeah.
I'm your witchy gal.
There you are.
You don't want to work. Maybe that's why I don't like holly.
I know. There we go.
I'm like, I've never really been a big fan of it, and now I'm like thinking about it. It's like I don't think any of the decor I have has holly on it.
I think you have this little like glass thing has like a little holly in it.
Is that mine?
Not sure. Yeah, it's like a little like words. I forget what it is. It has like a wire or something.
Oh yeah, it's like some sort of wine phrase though.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Anyway,
huh? Me.
you're connecting all the dots right now.
I know, right?
Giving shoes for Christmas means people will walk out of your life. Don't give shoes for Christmas.
I feel like I've heard this one.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever gotten shoes.
I mean, you got slippers though. Does that count?
Does it count?
I don't know. Anyway, let's keep going. Kissing under the mistletoe.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay, I think I know this one.
But so did you know that you're supposed to grab a berry from the mistletoe and give it to the person you kiss?
I did not know that.
And
Why do you give them the berry?
and when
Not to eat it.
no, not to eat it. And then when the berries are gone, you do not no longer kiss under that mistletoe.
Oh, I didn't know that. I've been so desperate. I can't find mistletoe.
Um,
I understand because it's poisonous, but you used to be able to, like, when you go to your tree booths, you could get a little thing of mistletoe. I like, our hallways are bare. But to be honest, I don't think I've ever seen, like, live mistletoe that I've bought that had berries on it.
Yeah. So if they don't have no berries, you're not supposed to kiss them.
Oh,
It's bad luck.
interesting. Interesting. Yeah. Ooh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Interesting.
Also, ask for permission. Don't just kiss some random strangers. Consent, people. Yule logs. Your Yule log should burn all night. Otherwise, it'll be bad luck. Traditions has that you then sit around the Yule log, telling ghost stories and drinking mule wine on Christmas Eve.
Oh, look at that! We got a fire. It's kind of smoldering right now because we don't need the fire noises in our podcast. But we did have a lovely fire going earlier. We technically had a spirit story going on.
So yeah.
And now we're drinking mulled wine and talking about more spirits.
More spirits. Now, last before we get to this regional superstitions, and this made me laugh. Singing Christmas carols outside of the festive season is unlucky. So, when does the festive season start? Is it Thanksgiving? Or is it after Thanksgiving? Because the Thanksgiving parade has...
In my opinion, it is when Santa ends the parade.
That's when festive season starts?
Yes.
So before Thanksgiving is over.
Correct. Well, it's like that day. Once Santa has arrived and the Thanksgiving parade, it's now okay for Christmas.
To start, okay.
It's a weird thing because, like, I never watched the Macy's parade growing up, but, like, somehow it's become I think since our little monster was born, we've been, like, watching the Macy's Day Parade, which has been really fun because my family's we're all judgy people. We're so bad, like, sitting there and judging the performances. And it's like everyone does such a great job.
That one's good enough.
It's so great that people get to go and do that.
I've seen some of them, and I love seeing the diversity of people who get to perform.
It's really fun to watch. I like enjoying.
And in some cases, yes, it's very like singular kind of thing. But you get to see it's gotten, at least the years that we've watched it, it's gotten more and more diverse, and people get to see different people, different groups. It's not always like the same group performance, like different things going around.
This is the first year we didn't watch it in a while.
Yeah,
but instead, I think we kicked it off a little better. We started the season with Miracle on 34th Street. We watched it the night before Thanksgiving just because we knew we might not. We always watch it. That's like the first thing we watch after the Macy's Day Parade is ended. Because if you don't know, that's when that movie starts, is during the Macy's Day Parade. So we were going to be at my parents' house this year, and instead of us living there, we were coming as guests this time. So we were like, let's watch it ahead of time just in case we come back late, we don't get a chance to watch it. And we wanted to introduce the kids to it now that they're a little older. And so that's how we kicked it off this year.
We're going to play a little better this time. But yeah. So, let's travel around the world and learn about different traditions.
Yay!
So the first one is the one that caught me to like, let's find out more, because this was very interesting. In Poland, any child born during the 12 days of Christmas could be a werewolf or other half-human demon hybrid.
What?
And our little Boo is born on 12 days of Christmas, is he? Monster.
No. 12 Days of Christmas starts on Christmas Day. That's the first day of Christmas.
Okay, never mind.
And then you do the math, it ends on around the Epiphany.
Okay,
Those are the 12 days of Christmas.
I thought it was like the 12 days before Christmas.
Nope. Everyone thinks the 12 days of Christmas is counting down to Christmas, but it's actually Christmas Day.
And you get more, okay.
To January
Still a lot of
6th,
presents.
5th.
But anyway.
I think that's why the whole practice of the 12th night,
Uh-huh.
which I don't know if you're familiar with
Nope.
that, but usually it's a New Year's-esque type of celebration.
Okay.
And it's the 12th night concluding the Christmas Day celebrations.
So if any of you have children who were born on the 12 days of Christmas, if you want to cure this, you need to draw blood from the infant's brow.
All right, so we have a friend who was born during the 12 days of Christmas, and that's why their name is very festive.
Uh-huh. I don't know. Oh, yeah, that remind me later.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay.
She talks about it all the time.
Okay.
One of my favorite Christmas movies from Disney Plus shares her name.
Okay.
Yeah.
You should ask her if she got drawn blood.
I should ask her if she's aware of this practice.
Yes. Okay. In the Appalachian myth tells that if unmarried woman visit a hog pen at midnight on Christmas Eve and hears an old hog grunting, she will marry an old man. However, if a young hog grunts first, her husband will be young and handsome.
I love that these, like, thinning of the veil practices always involve some sort of divination about your future partner.
Right? like a lot of these were like, hey, women getting married. Like, hey, this.
Because that's like a popular one at Samhain,
Mm-hmm.
is all these games predicting your future partner.
Pretty much.
So it's funny that there's one also
So
during the Christmas season.
I had to find out which part of Greece this tradition is from because the Greeks that work at where I work didn't know about this tradition. But anyway, in Greece, there's a tradition calls you to burn your old shoes at Christmas times. It is believed the foul smell will drive away the Kalikansari, a Christmas goblin, and keep them from your home. And their little goblins things.
I need you to find out
Mhm.
where our mutual friends, what part of Greece they're from.
Probably
Because I feel like I heard my yaya talking about
burning shoes.
burning your shoes around
ask 'em.
Christmas time.
Mhm.
Did it say like where?
No, it didn't
in
say where.
Greece?
No.
Because Greece is interesting. If you guys don't know, I think we've talked about it before. I need to refill pretty soon.
All right.
On my dad's side,
Christmas magic.
his mother's family is
From Corfu.
Greek, and they're from Corfu. And if someone says they're from Greece, doesn't necessarily mean they all have the same practices, because Greece has a bunch of different islands.
Well, that's like saying, like, if you meet somebody in our country, go, look, I'm from America or United States. It's like California, Texas, and Florida are all completely different type of people. Even in California, like San Francisco, LA, and San Diego are all different kind of people.
Yeah, but it's like, I think a better association would be like, I think Japan, where it's like there's just like one island in specific where they kind of treat them very differently from the
Yes.
rest
No, yeah,
of the
for
country.
sure.
But like in Greece, in the different islands, depending which island you're from, there are like different practices.
Mhm.
And yeah, I would say that, but I would say it's unusual for when it's a small nation, it's a cluster of islands. Like even thinking Hawaii, you
They're
hear
all
about Hawaiians.
Oh, they're a little different because they're all different tribes.
Okay. I'm actually not too familiar.
There's different there's different like indigenous
Someone
tribes.
educate me on that. I'd love to hear about it.
And Hawaii, as far as I can
Well,
understand.
because like I've known
Mhm.
a few Hawaiians. I've had coworkers and then just family friends. I haven't really heard.
I mean, because you always hear about the Big Island.
Well, yeah.
And the things they do there are different from what they would do the
I'm
small
just
ones.
I haven't heard like where it's like a vastly different thing. Whereas it's like, for example, my uncle was telling me how like if you go visit Corfu, you actually tell them my grandmother's maiden name.
Mm-hmm.
Like the mother's maiden name, not
Your father.
not the Siriopoulos. Tell them you're Martini, and they know who the Martinis are.
Interesting.
Yeah, which yes, I know that sounds Italian because it is, and
Yeah.
my
Anyway,
family tree's all over.
in Latvia.
Wait, before you jump into
Oh,
Latvia,
sorry.
what was the creature warding off with burning shoes?
Christmas goblins.
What are they called?
I'm going to try to pronounce it. Kalikansaroi.
Oh,
I don't speak Greek.
interesting. Christmas goblins.
Christmas goblins.
Specifically Christmas.
Yes.
Interesting.
That's
Interesting.
you burn the shoes during Christmas time.
Mhm.
Now let's go to Latvia. Dragging a Yule log through the forest streets in your home is an ancient Christmas tradition in Latvia. Afterwards, the log will be burned to appeal to pagan god Mithras and to encourage the sun to reappear next year.
Hmm.
Yule logs means the wheel being a pagan symbol of the sun.
Yep.
Plain and simple. And it's Chechnya? Sketchia? Think I pronounced it right?
Chitnya?
Chechnya?
Chit.
No. Eastern Europe. Many parts of Eastern Europe enjoy carp as their traditional Christmas dinner.
Okay.
Placing one of the fish scales beneath your guest's dinner plate is believed to bring them prosperity and embody the spirit of the season. So you take the scale off, plate, here you go.
Are you supposed to put it on everyone's plate, or you like pick and choose?
I guess you can pick and choose who we want to have prosperity.
It's like, make sure you go to the person's house who's going to put that scale on your plate,
I know, right?
huh?
The friend who wants good things for you. One Filipino tradition forbids you from taking baths on Christmas Day.
Okay.
If you do, you'll wash away the blessing of Jesus' birth and may suffer a strange long-term sickness.
Okay.
There you go. Keep going this time. I have multiple pages.
You're like, wait, did I turn the right?
Yeah.
You should start numbering them.
I know. Take care not to stay outdoors after sundown during the 12 days of Christmas in Serbia. It is said demons may jump on your back and a demon to be carried wherever it wishes. It will only release you when a cockcrow, a young rooster, crows at dawn.
Interesting.
So that's why I was like the 12 days of Christmas and before or after because the solstice is the 20th.
Mm-hmm.
So before Christmas.
Right. Well, so you have to look at, are they observing, when they say Christmas, do they actually mean like the solstice, Yule,
I don't know.
right?
Yeah.
So.
No. So don't go out at night.
Mm-hmm.
Christmas, stay home. Don't party.
Oh, you can party just
Party
in your house.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have all those house guests for 12 days.
On the last Sunday before Advent in England, families gather to prepare Christmas pudding. The mixture is stirred from east to west to represent the wise men traveling to see Jesus. Each stir will be gifted with good luck and the wish for the next year. There's another one. I don't think I have it here, but eating mince pies, it's good luck. So the more mince pies you eat, the more good luck you'll have.
Oh.
So just gourds and those things.
That's why Santa's so jolly. Because in England, they leave a mince pie instead of cookies for Santa. Mince pie and sherry.
There we go. Santa's eating good.
Right?
Okay. During a Portuguese Christmas feast, it is a tradition to set extra plates on the dining table for deceased relatives, as well as remembering absent family members. This thought to bring good luck and prosperity to the household.
Very Samhain practice.
Yeah, kind of like, Day of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
A spider web found on Christmas morning is believed to bring good luck. Ukrainians create small Christmas tree ornaments in the shape of spiders and hang their webs around the tree. The tradition using tinsel is because of this tradition.
Mm-hmm. I do know that.
Yeah.
And we've got a lovely little, I'm going to snag it. We've got our own lovely little spider and her web from the wonderful Carrie Ann Hudson. I love this little ornament. I can't wait to actually hang it around our house. But yeah, we've been decorating a spider on our tree for quite a while because I am familiar with this story, and it has several different variations, and all depends on where you hail from and what your belief is, where you prefer the story to go. But I do love that little spider tradition. We have some hanging amongst our snowflakes this year, which is really fun.
On December 7th, and Guatemalans go on a cleaning frenzy. Sweeping their homes, collecting rubbish, and piling everything in a huge heap outside. Finally, an effigy of the evil is placed on the top and set on fire to burn all the bad from the previous years.
What's the effigy look like?
I have no idea. I didn't look it up.
You should always know I'm going to ask these questions.
I should have, kind of. But no, you don't know yet. I'll look it up and then share your picture. Lastly, for the last tradition I have, we're going to go to Spain. Gift giving Christmas requires a little more caution in Spain than other countries. For example, never buy family or friends knives or scissors as a gift. Superstition says that your relationship will be cut as a result of it.
I've heard that one.
So I've bought you scissors before for Christmas.
Have you?
Sewing scissors?
I don't think so.
I haven't.
No.
No. Okay, then we're good. I never bought you knives either.
Nope.
But yeah, traditions.
Interesting. I love it. You
I'm-
know, I
I'm-
love those things. It's so cool.
I'm trying to think of any traditions that I had growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of thing. And excuse me. I don't think Christmas itself, because well, I guess the tradition we have is my mom always had a TV scene. It was kiss baby Jesus before going to bed, and we get a candy out of it, kind of thing. So it meant that we kiss him and put him in this little manger, kind of thing.
Mm.
And that's one I think I have.
It's like kind of hard
Mhm.
because I think we both spend our childhoods celebrating Catholic Christmas.
Yeah.
And as we get older and we get to expand our knowledge and learn, we're definitely lean more towards embracing the older Christmas, like
The
what it
oldest.
was before it was called Christmas.
Saturnella.
Saturnella, Yule, whatever it may be, because we just, I think, affiliate with that more. And I love some of the modern practices,
Hmm.
but I feel like, I hope no one takes offense to this, but like Christ doesn't need to be involved in it to enjoy the Christmas season.
Yeah, I mean he gets Easter. Like, and I think for me, it's not that like that I'm trying to be anti-religion
Uh-huh.
kind of thing. If that's your thing, if that helps you get through your days, by all means, embrace it.
We were
Mm.
very devout in practicing that at one point.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't want to say like
We're not as
extreme devout
No,
when I
we're
say,
like,
because
no.
devout sounds very strong, but
like,
we were very consistent in celebrating in a Catholic approach.
Yeah,
But as we've just had our children and whatnot, and we encouraged the belief of magic, the magic of Christmas
Mhm.
and Santa and what he is as Father Christmas and what he brings, we have a different idea of that that kind of goes away, doesn't focus so much on Jesus Christ.
I think and for me specifically, like you said, like we want to create that magic, that feeling of like there's magic in the world, and sometimes you got to give it a helping hand to bring it out there.
Mhm.
But I feel that as not to like get too political on this, it's getting to the point where it's becoming like it has to be this way or it has to be this way,
Mhm.
kind of thing. And I don't like subscribing to the idea because once again, this podcast is about experiencing all kinds of spirits and spookiness from all over the world that we
Mhm.
try to find. We've been focusing on lots of different areas just because that's what we find, kind of thing. But thanks to our cryptids, we've gone to explore a lot of different areas. We've gone to a lot of different countries toward it, and I love that. I love that all these traditions, all these cryptids that we learned
Yeah.
about today, all these different traditions people have. That like there's similar traditions in other countries, and we all practice the same thing. It's like, but the magic is there just to experience it. It doesn't have to be just this is the only way to do it. You don't have to have only an activity scene and only a Christmas tree or if you do Hanukkah you can do Hanukkah. If you do Kwanzaa, do Kwanzaa. Celebrate goodness, kind of thing, and whatnot. And it's not that we're trying to like bash a religious practices kind of thing. It's just that we, like you said, we feel
Because
more.
we still practice
We still
them,
practice them,
right?
and we're given the knowledge to our children, and when they get old enough, they can make the choice if they want to continue it or not. If they don't, as long as they're happy and good people, that's all I care about, kind of thing. But like like she said, we feel more connected to the idea of like goodwill towards men and helping yourself out, not in the religious aspect, just in the just bring the magic to people.
There's so much about this dark season of winter that is also, it's so old and ancient, but beautiful. And it's, you can't help but believe there's this magic in it.
You can't put a Christmas tree up without knowing that that's witchcraft. Let's just be honest. Come on, like if you put a Christmas tree up, you're doing witchcraft. You're decorating. I mean, if you don't decorate it, evil spirits come,
Right.
kind of thing. So you're practicing, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I feel like that magic, creating that magic has always been such a special part for us as a couple, and getting to create our own kind of Christmas miracle at one
Hmm.
point that still like gets us all emotional and teary-eyed. That how can you not have that feeling,
Hmm.
get excited about the season? You just have to find that reason that fits for you to embrace it and make it feel a little less dark and foreboding,
Hmm.
right? A little less frightening, because we tell those ghost stories to kind of,
We
in a
should.
way, uplift us and make it through the night,
Hmm.
or help us stay awake in
I know,
fear
right?
through the night.
I know, kind of thing, you know. And we get this idea of like, be good so that Santa gives you presents. If you're bad, Krampus is gonna kidnap you, kind of thing, you know. And it's like, I don't know, like, again, we grew up Catholic. We're not, we don't hate it. We're not unpracticing it.
Hmm.
I think it's just we're expanding.
We respect the
We just
practice,
practice, kind of
but
thing,
we're also adapting it into our own
kind of
types
thing,
of traditions.
and we respect anybody's practice and
Hmm.
however you want to celebrate this season, kind of thing. There's no one way rule them all, kind of thing. You do it
Right.
whichever way makes you the happiest,
Hmm.
as long as you're being good and not hurting anybody
And respectful.
and respectful of other people's, kind of thing. You want to come say Merry Christmas to us? Say Merry Christmas. I'll say Happy Holidays. Happy Holidays.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
Joyous Yule. Joyous
Joyous
Kwanzaa.
Kwanzaa.
Sorry, I
Whatever,
mixed them up. Sorry.
whichever way you want to celebrate your traditions, we are open to enjoy that. Join us, and we'll share it with you,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And this is not the end yet. We have one more spirit to visit us.
Yes. By the ringing of the third bell, we are visited by the third and final
Ghost.
ghost of Christmas future.
I was gonna say, why'd you put onions in my cocktail?
It's not onions.
It's not onions.
They're roasted chestnuts
Roasted chestnut.
that have been candied.
Ooh. That was killing me.
The shortest ooh.
Ooh.
Like cut short. All right, so let's take this ghost of Christmas future and toast
Cheers.
to Christmas as a future.
Christmas is to come.
Mm. So as this is, ooh,
Oh yeah.
so good. As this is so good.
Oh yeah.
As this is our final spirit cocktail of the evening. Obviously, it is named after the ghost of Christmas future.
The third and final ghost.
But also, what's your third and final part of your meal? Your dessert.
The dessert.
And this is definitely, ooh, it's
Right.
getting sweet there.
It's okay. Keep
This
going.
is your dessert cocktail for sure. So this again has the Espirito brandy, chestnut simple syrup, candied chestnuts, and a little bit of dry curacao and lemon juice. I was like, what is the other ingredient? You can tell we're getting deeper into the evening with more cocktails, where it's a little harder to recollect things. But I had this vision for roasted chestnuts being our third and final cocktail because thanks to...
Roasting chestnuts by the fire.
I'd always been curious about roasted chestnuts, but in this modern day and age, at least where we are here in California, little challenging to find them. But we happened to go to a New Year's Eve party at one of our favorite wineries, and they were serving roasted chestnuts. And I have a video of that moment, and I was like, oh my God, I could die now. This is the nicest, yummiest thing I've ever had.
Which is the better moment?
Hmm.
The chestnuts
Mm-hmm.
or the crab cakes?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Or the scallops?
Which scallops?
The Blue Bayou.
Oh. This is a really hard one, guys. I get very emotive about food. And it is a livelihood experience for sure.
I like to try to surprise her and give her gifts and whatnot. And I gave her the stuff, and she's like, "Oh, cool."
Yeah, I'm not very good about, like, I am genuinely excited, but I'm not good about expressing it when people give me gifts.
yeah. So she's like, it makes me feel like, oh, well, I guess it wasn't good enough, kind of thing.
But oh my
But
gosh, you
food,
put food in front of me and
she
I'm an open
melts.
book.
She melts. It's like those cartoons. It's like, have you ever seen that Food Wars anime? This one just has out of body experiences.
Yep.
Something's a little too erotic.
Okay, now I'm really concerned.
But anyway,
But yeah, so we've garnished this cocktail with a candied roasted chestnut. You just gobbled it up. So this could be a standalone dessert
Yep.
on its own. But what were we saying? Like this would pair really nicely with
gingerbread cookies.
gingerbread cookies. I feel like I said like a quiche or something, didn't I, earlier?
I mean, so
Which is more of an appetizer, I understand.
let's go with the idea of sweetness. It's not. You're not having candy. Candy, even though there's candy. Just
You're not drinking simple syrup.
You're not drinking simple syrup. It is sweet, but it's not. It is sweet in experience versus taste is sweet too, but it's more like in the sweet experience kind of thing. You came to the party.
Mhm.
You had your Christmas past. You enjoyed it. No nice fire with it. You came to had dinner. You had your mule wine. You enjoyed some great company with friends. Now it's the end of the night. You have a little sweetness. You're Santa delivering presents. You need your little cookie, to get you going for the next house kind of thing. It's good. It's relaxed. It's like
Pairs great with the candied chestnut.
good chestnuts. Like I said, gingerbread cookies are doing great. And if you have other Christmas treats, sure, cookies probably be fantastic too. Pies, pecan pie would be great with this.
Oh
kind of
yeah.
thing.
Like
Excuse me?
think something more nutty
Yeah,
based.
but also opposed to the Christmas past, as I'm drinking this, I don't want to just go in like, oh, I'm done. I need to put, I don't have like those like Christmas sleeps kind of thing. Like there's more like okay, now I'm relaxed. This is story time.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like this is the wake you up and get ready to get spooked cocktail. Because now I'm feeling much more alert. Like we were drinking the mulled wine drink, and I was like getting cozy and comfy.
Which, by the way, at least from my personal experience, as it got colder, it was much more enjoyable to drink.
Which is unusual for a mulled wine, because usually what really sells a mulled wine is that it's been mulled over heat. It's warm, it's hot. So at least in past experiences, when I've had a mulled wine and it started to cool down, it's like hot cocoa. It's like,
Yeah.
But yeah, this was still very appetizing after that hour of chit chatting.
Right. I think so. Yeah, enjoyable drink. Great way to end this trio episodes. I think
So
trio of cocktails. There you go.
is the spirits of Christmas future taking us?
The Spirit of Future is going to take you into a little Christmas ghost story.
Ooh, perfect.
Okay.
I'm getting cold. Oh my gosh.
It is getting later. So, the soft thud of following footsteps echoed behind him as he hurried through the snowflakes towards home. They kept pace with him, quickening when he quickened, slowing when he slowed. He was creepy. His flesh crawled at the sound, and he sped up, cursing himself for walking home alone from the midnight Christmas Mass. Normally, not a pious man, the middle-aged bachelor had suddenly been struck by a wish to hear the old Christmas songs sung once again by a church choir, and had walked across town to attend the service. Now he regretted his choice as he passed dark houses after dark house in the snowy night, and the footsteps ever followed. He sped up until he was nearly running and skidded into his street. A few more paces brought him to the bottom of his front steps, and as he dashed up them, he realized suddenly that the following footsteps had ceased abruptly. He glanced behind him at the cross street from which he had just turned and saw only one pair of footprints in the snow-covered street where there should have been two. He frowned, puzzled, and then shuddered. A cold breeze struck him, driving snow against his cold collar, slammed against the door, almost as it seemed to pass through the door, but that was superstitious nonsense. His hand was shaking as he unlocked the front door and hurried inside. He expected darkness, but was delighted to see a yellow glow of firelight coming from his study doorway upstairs. His old housekeeper, who thought firmly asleep in her attic bedroom, must have lit a fire pending his return. He shrugged it off his coat and paused for a moment, amazed to find it still warm and dry, though he had walked for more than a mile through the snowstorm. It was almost as if he'd been walking in a bubble of calm air, though he remembered the snowflakes hitting his face when he first stepped out of church, before the mysterious footsteps began. He shuddered and was interrupted by a shout of greeting of his old friend Andy came hurrying out of the study. His whole face lit up in a grin that was unexpected surprise. The two men shook hands heartily and retreated back to the warmth of the firelight. Talking so fast, they stumbled over each other's words. Andy had left town years ago to take a government job in D.C., and they hadn't seen each other since. Nearly an hour passed before it occurred to him that his guest might be hungry. His offer of meal was instantly accepted, but Andy was unwilling to leave the comfort of the fire to eat in the kitchen. So he jogged downstairs alone to fetch some food. He didn't wonder at his friend's reluctance to join him in the kitchen. Andy had looked very pale and had kept shivering with the cold while they talked. He hoped his friend wasn't ailing or for anything. A few moments later, he was back with the warmed meat and potatoes and a couple of glasses of beer, apologizing profusely as he had handed Andy a plate and mismatched dinnerware. Andy just laughed and hunkered down to eat. When they were both finished, he showed his friend the guest room and then tumbled into his own bed asleep. All his apprehensions caused by mysterious footsteps forgotten in the bits of his friend. He jumped out of bed Christmas morning and dashed immediately downstairs to the guest room to rouse his friend. Andy wasn't there. The bed had not been slept on. That was odd. He ran down to look in the study, but Andy wasn't there either, and one plate full of food was sitting at the end of the table beside his old friend's chair. He was completely untouched. Though he had seen Andy eating from the night before, skin creeping out at the thought, he ran to the kitchen and asked his housekeeper if he had seen Andy. But the housekeeper had seen no one in either the previous night or this morning. He flopped down the bottom steps of the staircase, completely baffled. Where had Andy gone? It was mysterious that plagued him all Christmas Day, and he did not enjoy his holiday dinner at all, a fact that annoyed his housekeeper. He was awakened the next morning from the restless sleep by a sound of a front doorbell. He stumbled out of bed and was splashing water from the bedside pitcher onto his sleepy eyes when a knock came at his bedroom door. When he answered, his housekeeper handed him a telegram that had just arrived. As she hurried back downstairs to prepare his breakfast, he opened it curiously, not knowing who would be telegraphing him so urgently. As he read, he started to tremble. The message was short and to the point. Andy's family regretted to inform him that his old friend Andy had passed away on Christmas Eve in his home in Washington, D.C. He sat down hard on the bed. The telegram fluttered away from his hand. It must have been Andy who had followed him home on the church on Christmas Eve. That would explain the eerie footsteps and the dry cold in the middle of the snowstorm. He spent Christmas Eve with the ghost.
Ooh. See, I thought that story was going to take a different turn.
I thought it was going to.
I like it.
End
No,
a nice turn.
I thought he was going to realize he was the ghost and he had followed his friend home.
But yeah, no.
Like he thought he was being chased, but he was actually the one chasing. Ooh. Ooh, what a good Christmas ghost story.
Right?
I like that.
But yeah, no, it was like I found it like, okay, it's fun. It starts a little eerie, so then and then it gets happy, and then it gets like, oh, like his friends spend Christmas Eve with him, kind of thing. You know, it was nice.
No, I like it. Like just that final parting and proper closure. Because how many times does someone pass and we're full of regret that we kept saying we're gonna go see them, we're gonna take a moment.
We'll take a moment to say hi, to be okay. You know what?
Say hi
let's reconnect
before we know
before it's too
they
late.
pass.
Yeah.
Before it's too late.
You know.
But it'd be nice. The spirit. It's nice, kind of knowing you're also on someone's priority list, even after death.
Yeah, you know, and it I believe it happens both ways, where you feel the regret of never going back and reconnecting,
Mhm.
but also, maybe they wanted to do it, and then they give themselves this last chance before passing over, kind of thing. And going back to what we talked about at the beginning, Christmas traditionally was a dark time.
Mhm.
You know, you hopefully your harvest and your food that you have will last you for the full winter.
Yeah. I mean, we're so blessed.
Hmm.
Like we were talking about this earlier.
Yeah,
You
we're
know,
so
we have
blessed to
modern
have modern
electricity and heat
conveniences.
where it's like, yeah, it does get a little darker earlier, but we're
Hmm.
not really in darkness.
No,
We're surrounded by the Christmas light decorations,
yeah,
our own just modern conveniences.
I remember um, when I used to commute,
Hmm.
I used to wake up in the dark and come home in the dark.
Yeah.
And now, me personally, it is what it is. It was a necessity. I need to take care of it.
Right.
I've heard, and I still hear some people going like, "Oh man, I hate how it gets dark so early. It gets so like depressing." So, like I'm like, I don't know, like like I'm not trying to like make fun of you or like if that happens to you, like if you miss the sun,
Hmm.
kind of thing. But I mean, we all get our happiness, our energy from all different types of things.
Right.
Luckily for me, I get it from people. Thank you for being an extrovert, me, kind of thing. So being around people gets me the energy to, get back up and keep
Yeah.
going.
I would say you're not really a person affected by like the change of the
Change
seasons.
of season, change of times, kind of thing. I just roll with the punches.
Whereas I'm definitely the opposite, but I'm also opposite of the norm
Yeah,
too. Because, like, oh my gosh, please don't interact with me in the summer because I
she
am
is a
miserable. Like, people talk about seasonal depression. I think I get that in the summer because I would be happy to be anywhere, be back in winter.
winter.
I love when it gets darker earlier. I feel like so much more alive and rejuvenated and inspired and more motivated to do stuff.
Your skin glows.
um I can't explain it, but definitely I was definitely meant to be a winter person. And it's unfortunate I feel like we don't get the full luxury of winter here in California.
Maybe one day we will. Not here in
Someday,
California,
hope.
but when we hopefully our forever home we have
Mhm.
to experience that loveliness. But yeah, no. The future, like you watch Christmas Carol, and you see Scrooge wanting to change for the better.
Yeah.
Like, but then like
I have something on that I want to touch on when you're done
you know,
making your point.
and then if you watch the man who invented Christmas, you watch him create that desire for him.
Mhm.
You see the idea that you can change,
Mhm.
kind of thing, and whatnot.
No one is ever truly that evil.
Kind of thing, yeah, and the idea that that was relatable, kind of thing, and it's like we all hope for a better future where things are better for us and whatnot. And I hope that that happens to you.
Mhm.
That happens to you, our audience, our friends, and kind of thing. Kind of thing. Um, but don't ever forget to live in the now, in the present. Don't get stuck in the past, kind of thing. The past is there to remind us, to teach us, to help us move forward. The future is there for us to aspire for. The future is there for us to aspire for, to want to reach for, to want to better ourselves. But the present's here, the present's now. You know, enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's not gonna always go 100% as you want it.
Mhm.
We have talked about it multiple times throughout this batch of episodes how our best laid out plans of mice and men did not go the way it's supposed to at all.
Oh
Kind
boy.
of thing. We were hoping to be done with all recording before Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Kind of thing. We're now in the
We're literally the week before this episode has to come out
yeah,
recording this.
kind of thing, and whatnot. So it you gotta roll with the punches.
Yep.
Sometimes it's going to get stressful when it doesn't.
Mhm.
Kind of thing. You laid out your plans at work, at home, at your friends' activities, whatever it is you're gonna do. The best thing you can do is just work through it the best you can. That's my advice to you, and
Mhm.
hopefully things will turn out the best, kind of thing. If it doesn't, hopefully it's not something too detrimental, kind of thing.
Yep.
And what I don't know. That's my future thoughts.
I like it. I always feel like in the Christmas Carol, you can agree or disagree. I feel like
Disagree.
the ghost of Christmas future
Mm-hmm.
is always like the shortest segment.
Yeah.
Like some renditions spend a lot of time in the past, some really focus on the present. And I feel like the poor future is like so glossed over, and I get it because we don't really know what the future holds, and I think that's kind of the point. But I almost feel bad for that spirit. One, he doesn't have anything to say.
Nope.
He's very gesturative. I don't know if I haven't actually had the pleasure of reading the Christmas Carol from cover to cover. I've only seen like 100 different movie versions
Right.
of it. I would be curious to see one that really focuses a little bit more on future.
Mhm.
And here we are kind of going a little quicker through
Mhm.
our future thing, because dessert, it's like we're all kind of almost done. We're ready to snuggle up into our winter
Trying to kick you out of
nap.
the house. Go
Yeah,
home.
we're all ready to go home.
I really can't stay.
But so I understand why that's always glossed over, but as when you look at the three spirits as the entities,
Mhm.
and I love how some renditions kind of almost connect the spirits, they're all one.
Yeah.
I still feel kind of bad for the Ghost of Christmas Future. Does not get as much, and people don't get very creative with it. It's usually almost always, it always is, not usually, almost, it always is some sort of variation of a Grim Reaper,
Mm-hmm.
which is like a very negative way to look at the future.
Well, I mean,
because of who it is, I understand, but I don't know. I really need to just read the book. I love it so. I love this story so much, and I love how we do spend a lot of time watching all the different kinds of Christmas carols we
so
can.
fun.
Just to see how they're all different. But I would like to read the book and read it from Charles Dickens' perspective.
Should we summon them from the dead? Have them read to you. I'm gonna pause you for and then
Yeah, no.
interject.
That's about it.
I think in the in the Mickey's Christmas Carol,
Mm-hmm.
Pete talks.
Pete does,
So-
but I feel like that's because Disney was being understanding of their audience
Mhm.
who might not be able to read the tombstone.
Mhm.
That
But yeah, so I
the
think that one.
tombstone reads Ebenezer.
But so and to back to the Green Reaper.
Or not Ebenezer, but
And
Scrooge.
I'll talk about the Green Reaper part, and I'll talk about the shortness of the
Mhm.
future. The future of Ebenezer is death.
It's supposed to be that final nail in the coffin.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like so. Like it's so pretty much. The past is him growing up. The present is him now.
Mhm.
And like what's going around to his world now. And the future is how is his life going to end?
Right. If
Kind of
he
thing.
remains unchanged.
If he
'Cause
remains
that's,
unchanged, yeah.
it's very specific
Yeah.
to if he does not change. Because by the time he's finished his encounter with the ghost of Christmas present,
Hmm.
he's like,
I'm ready.
I'm going to carry Christmas spirit in my heart. But again, right, also, he needs to experience the third spirit because it's so easy to say,
That's
I'm
why.
going to do this, but not understand the consequence of not following through, right? So that's the whole point of the
If you
Ghost
guys
of
have not
Christmas Future.
seen the newest rendition of Christmas Carol that's
I
on
wouldn't say
Netflix,
it's the newest. I'm sure there's others.
yeah,
But yeah,
And-
the animated musical of the Christmas Carol on Netflix.
Okay, and I think this one hits your idea in the thing because as you watch it, he's going through it. By the time he gets to present, he's already kind of like feeling like I want to change.
Well,
And
he's also like, well, they're making the best of it,
Mhm.
regardless of what my influence is upon it.
Yeah.
So they're all gonna be okay. It's fine.
Mhm.
And even once he gets to future,
So
right?
that's what I was gonna get at. It's like so he finishes present, it's like okay, I think I need to change that. I know I want to be better, and then gets to future, and there's a song where
They're celebrating.
celebrating
him.
They're thinking Scrooge.
Uh-huh.
The characters are thinking Scrooge through this whole song, and so he's like, you see, I'm great. These people, they're celebrating me. They're greeting me. So
But
at the beginning of the
spoiler
future,
alert.
he's starting to like go back. Like I'm doing a fantastic job. I don't need to change. I'm
Hmm.
just perfect. People are celebrating me. But if you've seen the Christmas Carol, unfortunately, spoiler alert,
Yeah, they're celebrating that he's
he's dead.
dead.
Yes,
That
that's the gift that he gave
like
everybody.
that is the blessing, is that he's now gone, so all their debts are
Yeah,
forgiven or
kind of
whatnot.
thing.
Which
So
was like a great perspective because they never like almost every version I've seen focus on the people who come in at the beginning of the
mhm,
film begging for,
mhm,
an extension
mhm.
or just a little understanding to get through the holiday. And he's like, no, throws them out of his office.
Yeah.
But then they never retouch on
Mm-hmm.
that. Whereas in this particular version, they actually touch on this is what happened. All these people are like, yay,
Yeah.
he's dead. So we don't have to worry about paying back that debt.
Yeah. Because he had no partners. He was just him.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Because at least in that version, he's still on that. Well, I don't need to change. Look at how happy they were because I existed.
yeah.
He didn't even realize he's dead
He,
in that future at that point.
yeah. He didn't realize it was they were dancing in his grave for lack of better words. Pretty,
They were literally dancing on his coffin,
Yeah.
guys.
So it's like
I was like, oh,
Mhm.
oh. I mean, he was a terrible guy, but I'm not sure about this. Like, we've heard the expression dancing on someone's grave, but this is a whole new level.
But yeah, no, that version of Christmas Carol like is currently like
I think that's currently one of your favorites.
like my favorite ones kind of thing. Like I enjoy all of them kind of thing. But that's definitely one
There's
of them.
a musical like stage
Mhm.
version I really want to watch that's on Prime.
Oh yeah, well, check
We
that out.
like come across it. It looks really interesting.
But yeah, no, the and the last thing about why is the future such a short section
Hmm.
because like we said before this is that usually at that point Scrooge is like I'm ready to change
Hmm.
kind of thing. He asks a question: Is this a future that will be or a future that can be?
Right.
Kind of thing. So there's no definite answer what the future's going to bring. Kind of thing. There's no definite like this is what it's going to be and that's it. Kind of thing.
Hmm.
It's like
Is this an inevitable change, regardless of if I do anything
yeah,
about it?
kind of thing. So the two things that is focused on the Christmas Carol is his death and the death of Timmy. Tiny
Tiny
Tim.
Tim.
Not Timmy. Tiny Tim. Different show.
I mean, Timmy's kind of like
Yeah,
a
like like
nickname,
like
but-
like like Tiny Tim kind of thing. So like he starts feeling remorse because he can do so much for Tiny Tim.
But does Tiny Tim
Yeah.
have to die?
Yeah, but the question is, does he have to die kind of thing,
Yeah.
And so it's like he wants to change. He wants to at least give something back, and and in some people's books that might not be enough.
Mhm.
He's like, oh, you're too late. Like now because you see your mortality, you're gonna want to help. And other
Mhm.
people's like, you know what? They changed now. Like let's accept that kind of thing as it is.
Right.
Kind of thing. But I don't know. It's the future's unknown.
It is
Kind of thing.
unknown.
You can plan all you want. Kind of thing. But you never know what's gonna happen.
Totally out of your control,
Out of
guys.
control. The future is what it's going to be. It is not what it will be.
And all that matters is what you make of the present.
Exactly. And with that,
As we honor the past.
as with that, where's my notes? There we go.
And with that, are we ready for our last call?
Let's
But before we do that,
yes.
would you guys like to try these recipes for yourself? Yes?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you where you can find those recipes.
I
I love your like, wait, where are you going with this?
was like, what? Like here, have a sip.
We're like 3 cocktails in. We're a little scatterbrained.
Let me pour it into my mic so you guys can taste it. What?
No, so as always, we keep all our original cocktails on our website, sipsandspirits.com. There's a little tab right there at the top. You just click on cocktails and you will find these 3 spirits of the holidays, past,
Holidays.
present, and future. So try them out. Let us know what you guys think. And I think with that, we are now officially ready to move into our last call.
Thanks for sipping along with us in this fantastic journey.
Yay!
We want to keep those spirits flowing. We want to keep the spirits coming back. Come visit us. Let's remember their past.
Yeah.
Let's say, honor our past. Let's live in our present and hope for our future. So please be sure to show your support by reviewing and subscribing to our podcast. If you enjoy the show, be sure to share with others.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Share this cocktail. Set up your Christmas party if you want to set up this way. Kind of thing. We will love to hear that you guys do that.
Yeah.
Kind
Oh,
of thing.
that'd be so cool.
That'd be our Christmas gift.
Yes.
Kind of thing that you guys
Not required. You
not
guys
required.
can continue enjoying.
Enjoy
but
it
if
how you
you
want
do
to.
use any of these cocktails over the holiday season, let us
Let
know.
us
We
know.
would really, genuinely
Yes.
love to hear about it.
Exactly. Kind of thing. Share with others. Talk about it. Talk about us. Talk about your Christmas traditions. Share them with us, please.
Mhm.
We always love to learn more. Like Chelsea asked, any of the scriptures that I mentioned, most likely I butchered their names.
Yeah.
We will put the names and pictures on our show notes.
Yes, absolutely. And if you're curious where you can listen to us, if you're watching us on one of our many ways, you can find us on all podcast hosts, or on YouTube. You can watch us visually, see all those fun effects we were talking about, or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever it is that is your podcatcher of choice, you can find us there. We also have a website, sipsandspirits.com, and we like to hang out on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, or X, as it's known now. So if you also find you're not a social media fan, which we totally understand and respect, we have an email newsletter to keep up to date with the latest and the greatest coming from behind the bar. And that is going to definitely be your key after our 50th episode to find out when we're coming back, because we are coming up on our hiatus where we take about a 2-month break, just revisit what we've done, decide what we're going to do, and what our episode format's going to be for the next 10 episodes.
Yep.
So if you guys want to keep up, know when we're coming back, because if you see that 2-month break, we're not gone. We're just taking a little hiatus.
Hibernating.
Yep, we're hibernating for the winter because we want to just relax and enjoy it.
Yes.
Get all those ghost stories in that we can.
And with that, we also like to make sure that you guys get to enjoy your holidays. Hopefully, you get some time for yourselves.
Yes.
Get some time if you want to spend it with who you consider your family, kind of thing. Just enjoy it. It is the end of the year, and we hope that your year was as flourishful and as successful as we believe ours was. Kind of thing. We had our hiccups, but hopefully you get to enjoy the last part of the year, with some friends, family, and a cocktail or some nice festivities.
Here.
Here.
And with that, we will see you guys for one more episode, the very last Thursday of this year. And cheers.
Cheers.